What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video. This time, more CMP content. What I'll be doing is swapping out the dual 8-pins to EPS to just single 6-pin to EPS. So hopefully, in theory, this should cut down on a ton of adapters. I have 16 of these cards, so it'll clean up the insides a lot more, and just overall just look a lot nicer. These are the adapters that came with it. Not all of them look like this. As you can see, the other one's perfectly clean. There's some other adapters that I have. Oh, here they are. So, I mean, this is the other one. So, condition varies pretty greatly, I would say. Yeah, this is one of the more clean examples, not very much dust, normal amounts. But overall, it'll just be nicer to use a single adapter versus like a dual adapter. So, gonna get these 4 guys cleaned up, and I will also be tape modding. I think it goes right here, just so along this opening, so it forces all the air through the heatsink. But we'll be doing that for this rig. I'll start another video when I do this rig, show you the insides before I take them all apart, because I have some foam and stuff in the other rig, which I will show you, and we'll go from there. Alright, I've got a few of these done now. I've done 3, and so basically the way that I did it was, as I'm holding the camera in the wrong hand, I sealed off everything from the I/O bracket to the back. I saw some people, they sealed off, kind of hard to see, from the top of here down to these plastic nubs. By looking at the nubs, they're kind of halfway down the fins in here, so I figured trying to seal off all of it and making a nice tunnel into the fins is probably better, perhaps, to get air through here. It's been taking a little bit longer, but I've been trying to be pretty good about it. So I'll do a before and after for my 12-card rig. This one really won't see much improvement, but I'll do a before and after of the 12-card rig once I get that guy done. But so far, 3 done and 13 more to go.
All right, guys. This is just a quick snippet of my before temperatures for the 12 CMPs that are in this rig. I've already put together the rig of 4 CMPs. I didn't do it before and after. I felt like that was a very good example of tape mod for just doing 4 in a case. So this is a full case of 12. These are my temperatures right now at 75% fan speed on those 4 fans. Temperatures are around like 61 to 57. We'll say average of 60. And then memory temperature is around like 58 or so. So it's just a quick before. I'm doing a Leo or Aleo and wattages, 93s, 100s or so. It fluctuates a tad, but this is before snippet. I'll cut back to doing more tape mod afterwards and changing adapters, and I'll cut back to this with the temps after, and hopefully we can run at lower fan speed and maybe even achieve these same temps, which is actually pretty great. So that'll reduce noise and potential like fan wattage as well. So I'll see you guys after I do that.
All right, we got the 12 CMPs powered down. This is right after I took the top off, and I realized that looking at some other people's builds that they've done, they actually foamed up here. Not sure if I'll put foam up here also. I'm not sure if that makes too much of a difference. Maybe I will. I don't know, unless I did see people put foam here to like push all the air through. Like it'll come in this way and then push it down. So unsure if I should change how I have my foam set up. I guess it doesn't matter because where the foam is theoretically, if it sucks it in, it'll come up this way. And if I have the foam here, it'll trap it and just go underneath and then come out here. I suppose in theory you'd want this to travel through the entire heatsink, but instead of it escaping this way. So maybe I'll put foam on top as well, see what the temperatures are, and if they're like, I don't know, not any different or worse than what I'm expecting them to be, I'll just take that top foam off. But yeah, also wire situation is just a big wiry mess right now. Tons of adapters plugged into here, so I'll get all this cleaned up and hopefully this wire situation is better and temperatures drop. Out of curiosity, just to see the kind of condition these guys are in, I decided to pop one open. It's pretty easy. It was just 4 screws in the back. These guys here. And then this big old heat sink pops off. It's quite hefty. It looks like copper inside. It's kind of hard to tell, but with the right lighting, it's all like copper fins on the inside, or at least copper plated. In terms of dust, it's pretty minimal, I would say. Some of them did look a lot worse on the ends than they did, but this one's not that bad. I had one earlier that was pretty bad in terms of dust. But overall, these look pretty good. Thermal paste doesn't look terrible. It will smudge if you touch it, so it's like fairly new, I would say. Yeah, so just out of curiosity, I decided to open these guys up and have a look inside. So we'll get this guy repasted and we'll continue tape modding. I've got 2 done so far, and you can't tell, but there's some stuff done in there. Actually, I have a flashlight. Yeah, so they kind of come out and loop down and go in the back. Before, everything was just on top here, so yeah, as you can see, some of these ones are like pretty dusty in the ends, but if the air always comes in through this way, that makes sense. So we'll go back to this one. Maybe you can see better, but yeah, you can see all the copper in there, so that's nice. Pretty decent heatsink. It's got like a good amount of heft to it. It weighs way more than like a smartphone. Probably like two smartphones, I would say. It's pretty heavy, so yeah, we'll get this guy repasted and we'll continue with the tape mod and EPS swap. All right, we are all done with the swap to single 6-pin to EPS connector, as well as having tape modded all 12 of these guys. And just looking in the case, I don't know if you guys saw that before, if I even showed you. But so anyway, I still have the wires just bunched down. Having an adapter still makes it kind of messy. Obviously, the adapter is like a couple inches long. I did try to have them run all along the top, but it was still a big mess, and I tried to tuck all the wires in here. Didn't really work too well. So I still thought the first 4 I kind of tucked in back here, and I pulled them in a little bit to try to get some of like the wires out of the way, and then the other set of 8 or 2 sets of 4 I tucked underneath. So it's a little better, but trying to like keep the fans clear. This one's usually the most packed full of stuff, so I wouldn't be surprised if this GPU up front here is the one that is the worst temperature. But yeah, so we got all this tape modded up, and then I also have some very handy foam I found. This foam here actually is what came with these CMPs. It came in the boxes that they shipped in. And funny enough, I just dropped one. It fits like a glove. This other one here might have to modify a teensy tiny bit, just because it does put some strain here, perhaps. And obviously this bunch of wire here. But all in all, I feel like if this closes, it doesn't really matter too much. Well, more so just having the foam here. I don't know if the foam would melt. Probably not, I would imagine, but if anything, I'll cut out this tiny corner here for the wires to come in, but for now, I think I'll just, that seems like a lot of stress. Yeah, I'll cut out this corner. I can't really cut out like 2 millimeters to make this fit better, but I could cut here, but I really don't. These are nice pieces, so I'm just gonna cut this corner out here for the wires to come through, and I'll probably put everything back together. Okay, got this little corner cut out Gonna run this foam as is, put the cover on, see how it goes. I'll probably run this for a little bit, make sure temps are okay through like the Hive app while I'm in the basement. And then once they are okay, I'll just put everything back and we'll go hop into Hive, see what the temperatures are like. We saw before. And successful tape mod and EPS swap.
All right, we are back in Hive OS. This is post tape mod and EPS swap, and temperatures are currently this. So some of these cards were 61 to 55 degrees, and most of them are now, well, actually all of them are a couple degrees below 60. So they dropped around 4 degrees max. Maybe some of them 5, but I don't think so. Looking back, 61 was the highest temperature that we had. Most of them were around 59, 60. And now we're around all of them being pretty much 57, 55s. There's like a 58 in here. And memory temps also dropped a few degrees. Not too much. Like 60 was the highest here. 55 was one of the lower ones. So I'd say all in all, maybe like 2 to 4 degrees drop max. This is also with foam covering the entire span of the case. So I think all in all, the amount of time I put in and dropping temperatures is good. And also with this, I can drop the fan temps. I don't know if we can do 65, but let's just say we'll try 65. We can drop the fan temps and still be in the low 60s for temperatures, and low 60s is totally fine. These things can run at like, I think 85 is throttle, so even if you run these at like 65, 70 Celsius, it's not a big deal. And my other case, same thing, I dropped these fan speeds by 10%, and I'm getting the same temperatures now with lower fan speed, which is lower noise and lower wattage, so that's always good. And I'm mining Alio. This is to F2 pool. I have noticed in overall higher load averages on F2 pool. I'm still waiting to see what like the 24-hour is, because I feel like I was getting more in ZK pool, but I'm not really too sure on that, so I'm not going to make any calls on that. And then I do have 2 of my rigs. I split the 4090s and 4070 Ti split into 2 rigs, which are actually on Chlor. They're being rented out. It's hit or miss, so. But I'll kind of just do like a bigger overview when I get to that point. But so far, tape mod, I think successful. It was good. It just took some time. I did try to do a good job and really try to funnel all the air in as best as I could using the tape, and not try to like mess the tape up too much, and just have it be clean looking. And then also the EPS swap, you just do that when you do tape mod. It's like, doesn't take any time at all, and you lose a bunch of adapter like dongle pieces. So but yeah, okay, so I dropped 10% fan speed, and some of these cards went up like a couple degrees. We have a 60 degree here now on card 2, but again, 60 is totally fine, and we dropped fan speeds by 10%. I could probably go down to 60%, and all 12 of these cards will be totally fine. So I do think if when I get 8 more CMPs to make this a 12 card rig, maybe because there's more of them, the airflow is directed much better. So I can maybe drop the fan speed on this, because these also did get tape modded, and the temperatures are the same. So I think tape mod makes more sense on a full rig where airflow really matters, and you just want to tunnel it all into the fins. But on like a half rig probably still worth it, because you can put foam on top as well. But I just have 4, and they're all on one side of the rig, so they're not really spaced out. But yeah, that's my experience with the tape mod. Super successful, I would say. Like 2 to 4 degrees drop everywhere is great, and I could lower my fan speed by 15%. Like, I feel that's a huge win for me. So I will see you guys in the next video.